Why, hello, everybody. Welcome on back to another brand new video. And also, heyo, I'm back. That's right, I'm back from Colombia. Colombia. I don't know why I would say that, but who knows? Or should I say, who knows? Which, that's what I meant to say is, who knows? But, okay, so, anyways, it's time and time again that we're gonna get right back into this. So, guess I'm back again. Apparently, I am actually back. So, anyways, before I say anything in this video, and before I actually will say it, the most likely the time is that yes, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. I am once again back, and I am Devin-Foxy remastered here, and I am actually back again. I am back, and why am I wearing my bathrobe around almost at night? Well, apparently, that's when I might tell you guys what really happened while I left. So, you might probably be wanting to hear all of that, or maybe not really, as pretty much if anybody actually attends to not watch the entire thing, then don't watch it. So, again, let's just get to the point of what I'm saying of this. So, yeah, I'm back from Colombia, and all I have to say back from Colombia is that, well, yeah, it was pretty interesting. All I have to say about Colombia is a little bit certain likely interesting, and yeah, it really is interesting. Even hell, the woods. Okay, so here's how I'm going to explain the story of how I'm going to say it right here. So, again, all I'm going to say here is how I actually was in Colombia. Well, let's just say I spent some nights around pretty much from like Wednesday all the way to Monday. Well, let's just say it's going to probably be like a few long nights. That was probably happening there anyway. So, here's how I'm going to tell the story, the tale of the tale of the tale, which I know it won't make sense otherwise, but again, it pretty much will not make sense anyway. So here's what I'm going to say in this very explanation. So, in this very explanation that I was probably going to say or attend saying of the video, otherwise, by me probably saying whatever. So, here's what I'm going to say and make the catch. So, the only thing I'm going to say how it's going to be make by the catch is that, however, that while I was in the woods, or should I say, pretty much, talking about like the old trailer, apparently. Like spending like a few nights in Colombia, which I have to say that, well, I lost mounts of my phone service, or should I say, pretty much my signal bars. That was literally at the freaking zero dot that had no white, that pretty much didn't have like signal bars, which I know it pretty much stinks, but at least I have to say, at least I was lucky to get something random from it anyways, by saying it's like, ooh, I got a signal bar. Like it literally randomly moved all the way to 2, 3, 4, and then 1. It pretty much reached all to those except 5. Because the only problem that was, well, do I currently need to explain that? Well, the other thing I currently am to explain to that is that, well, that question is a very familiar question I would totally like to be knowing about. So, yes, again, the question I'll say is that, yeah, it pretty much was random. And trust me, whatever again that, well, yeah, I only watched something pretty interesting that, well, after when the trailer was unpacked and stuff, like yada 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 was unpacked and stuff, and pretty much getting the right places and stuff by actually just letting stay still without like literally being blown away, because it just didn't even blew away, because I mean, tough shit. It actually doesn't blow away, of course, because it's literally the heaviest thing to deal with. So that's just all I have to probably amoutly say. And oh, and the only point of the matter is that, well, trust me, all I have to say that I did went to a restaurant and pretty much had to say that, well, kind of watching like a basketball game, which again, I've always been more of a football guy, not a basketball guy. Because obviously, like I said, I've always picked pretty intelligently, but different obviouses of different reasons. So again, opinion or not opinion, it's all I'm gonna ever have to just say here. And all I have to say, what was pretty much likely to be better is that, well, again, all I say is just that I actually watched random teams face off each other, and more likely, pretty much in NBA. And also, who probably much won with the Thunder, which, oh yeah, I was rooting for Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, oh hell yeah. Like, they're my secondary favorite. I had to say, thank God they actually barely kicked ass right in that game. They barely kicked ass. I was laughing my butt off after when that exactly happened. Like making many shots in the net. Like 3 shots in the hoop, and then 2, and then maybe just like a big dunk in there, anyways. Like I was surprised from any reason. And oh, the only thing I find it interesting is saying is like, what would it be like to see is who probably would be facing like literally random teams just to face off each other. Like I know, like I said, favorite teams could still be better, but all I could say is that yeah, it probably would be certainly like really interesting to me, I think. So that's what I would have to say about what was even happening with the game. Well, apparently, all I would say from the game is that, well, let's just say in the game that actually happened in NBA is that, let's just say what happened really currently in NBA was pretty much with Thunder facing a different team. I think it was Pelicans or something. I don't know. I think it was Pelicans or Clippers. I don't know. But all I have to say that the Thunder Oklahoma City freaking rocks. Really. All I have to say that they smacked it pretty good after when I was pretty surprised from hearing from how the Thunder was actually doing pretty impressive. Or should I say, they were doing magnifico, which I don't know if I was doing that in to say it in a language or something, or pretty much an accent or something. But yeah, the Blazers were always kind of like the first team I'd still say that they're fine with. But all I'm gonna say is just that, yeah, it's just gonna be saying is that, well, I'm not even gonna really ask about what the hell that the Blazers were even doing, just to consider losing at some point, or maybe haven't lose because it's a mystery. We just don't know how with the W's to L's. Trust me, W's for wins, L's for loses. Like that's all I could actually ever to explain about. So, in this moment, I currently would to say is that at this point, what was actually pretty interesting about that is that, well, yeah, you guys might be hearing a few amounts of talks that I might have to say for which teams I don't like or will like about which ones that there are. And all I have to say that I really never had to say that I just didn't even like the Grizzlies or even hell the Lakers, which I seriously didn't care about. So the only thing I'm saying is that there are going to be some opinions to agree to disagree. However, I would have to state my own fact about that. And the only thing I'm saying is that, well, again, all I'm going to point out and say from both teams sucks. But all I'm saying is from like Grizzlies and Lakers. Both suck. And I have to say, I would rather be a third-centered vote, a third-person vote, by seeing who wins randomly. So, yeah, that's all I could probably would have said. And the only thing I would have said, very much likely to say, however, is like, huh, I mean, ever says that, well, I'm not really going to probably just go on and say, like, oh, which team probably is going to win if you say that you may hate both teams anyway. But saying, like, would you want to pick anyways? Well, the only thing I'd ever pick is by seeing who probably loses the big time. So, the only thing I could say is that, well, all I could say is about the LeBron James. Well, again, I've always liked the dude being in the Blazers, Like, oh, trust me, I've already had liked him being on the Blazers team. Like, it was pretty better when he was on there, but until whenever he starts being like, oh, I'm going to be acting like it's pretty much my own thing and not caring about anybody else. Well, the only thing I'm ever saying is that, well, there were some opinions I had ever liked pretty much about the LeBron James until he was pretty funnier exactly back in the Blazers team basically for a while and a bit. But before after that, he pretty much went into another team anyway. Like, oh man, do I have to pretty much ever bring out like another clip where Joseph starts pretty much acting to say is like, why couldn't you just be in the Clevelands? Like, seriously, he probably had explained it that, which I really had kind of memorized why, actually, since he ever probably much like, oh, Joseph was pretty much into like the LeBron James after when they actually just knew why the LeBron James was actually traded to another team, or pretty much why at that point, since I kind of was a little bit more obviously to the point of being very honestly of knowing what was happening for that. And all I could say about the LeBron James is that, he pretty much isn't my favorite anyway. No more. Just no more. Literally, no more, no more, no more. No more. Yeah, I mean, of course I did watch, like, the movie pretty much with the Space Jam and shit, or whatever, basically, of the Space Jams. Like, pretty much, like, just the two, or basically haven't watched the first one, which, again, the second one's kind of better. Honestly, it was kind of better anyway. But the only thing I would rather point out the only way how this was even going to go, apparently, was just that, well, I kind of say that, but I kind of disagree on with Blonde James. I only kind of disagree most likely on most certain points that he just does or whatever that he just does in his own game, basically in basketball. Because I mean, the only thing I could ever say is just that, yeah, he pretty much was a yeah, he pretty much was just a guy who pretty much would say is like, "Oh, I'm gonna play dum dum. I'm gonna play dum dum, and I'm gonna play dum dum with my son to go on a basketball team." Like, come on, dude. Like, your son would rather just make pancakes, brother. He would rather make pancakes at a pancake store, or even better yet, he could pretty much would sell like seashells on a beach, like just to give it in a sales shop. Like, again, I'm not here to diss. All I'm here to say is that, well, he could have pretty much would have made his own choice by actually letting his own son to do something better with his own time, other than to do basketball. Which, again, all I can say is just that I'm just not here to brag on between different solutions on different reasons. Because, again, all I can say here is that I just don't care. I mean, I still liked him from the beginning, but whenever I went to middle or end, I literally had didn't even give a shit. I literally had given a shit, which I didn't even care. By saying is like, oh, how did LeBron James do? Well, to me, I just didn't care anymore because I just wasn't into this anymore. Because I just really wasn't. Like, I was just into basketball anyway because I was kind of flipped over to football anyways by watching NFL. That's all I could probably would have even said basically, and most likely in regards. But now, all I will say is that LeBron James, yeah, pretty much no longer gonna be my favorite. Until somebody asked me a question, unfortunately, that gave me a question by saying is like, do you like the LeBron James? Well, because I had some time to think, or maybe just didn't have the time to go on and explain it. Because all I could say was just going on random and think about it for a second. And that's when I had to come on and did this. So again, all I'm saying is that, again, I didn't like LeBron James from the very end of however he would have pretty much would have like kind of would have been going somewhere else, He would have rather just been traded to Cleveland or the Thunder. Like he could have been traded to those teams, bruh. He could have been traded to those teams, but nope. He decided to go on with the damn freaking Lakers because who cares? Seriously. And the only thing that was surprising anyway was pretty much Damian Lillard that actually was the only one too that was actually being traded to another team, which I didn't have to disagree on him either. Which, oh, trust me, Damian Lillard was fine, but until he pretty much flipped to another side anyway. But yeah, I was pretty much not going to say anything about Damian Lillard. Like, he was fine otherwise, of being pretty better. But all I could probably expect was that he could have pretty much would have done something to pretty much continue to stay in, or maybe would have been retired. But there's old sayings that, well, there's been an old saying by saying is like, hey, if you can't retire, continue to be in the bigger leagues and continue being on the bigger ones without being in the retirements. Which, again, that's pretty much all I would point out and say. And oh, I found out like a few obviouses, basically, that, well, it kind of stinks. Like a few other teams that kind of were actually a little bit passed away. Which, not saying it in the mean way, but I'm just saying in a different current way that there were a few different tragedies that were even happening anyway, which came out to be pretty random to me. And I was like, wait, how did this even happen? How did that really even happen? Which, I mean, if anybody would sincerely want to look on Google to know what the hell even happened there, well, just look on Google, man. Just look on Google. I mean, there's probably lots of things that even happened on different teams that probably were even happening in different dates that were even going on in many basketball games. Pretty much that was happening. So, pretty much out of the way and just kind of like give it out the way. So, yeah, about Colombia, that's all I can say. That, well, Colombia, all I have to say, Colombia was pretty good. All I'd say, Colombia was fine with me. But I think Seaside had way more better things than Colombia. Which I could say better that Seaside has more stuff better than Colombia that I could ever said. And I mean, trust me, Seaside has always been my favorite to ever go there, which I've always liked being there and pretty much enjoying fun and stuff. Well, pretty much for me, I just don't get bored. Which, of course, I was getting bored of, however, of pretty much just like, oh, let's just say that some others, which I'm not going to attend saying anything of it, because, like I said, it just remains not to be saying anyways. Because all I'm going to say, pretty much just going after some elks. Not deers, but elks with little orange butts. That's all I can say. It's just that, it's just pretty weird, man. It's just pretty weird. I don't care if it was an elk, or I didn't even care if it was pretty much like from a tree to a woodpeckers, of woodpeckers on flowers. So all I can say right now is just that, seriously, it was pretty boring. It was literally pretty boring for me. It was boring like heck. Like, pretty much like damn shit. I even barely had to get up around 6 to freaking o'clock. 2 times in a row. Literally 2 times. And oh, I kept expecting a freaking power outage whenever it was going on in the freaking trailer. Like the lights were going flickering off for a few hours until that was going on like complete nonsense. And also, what was even more nonsense was that, oh, the TV went freaking off. And I mean, the audio still continued playing while I was watching Sonic Boom, which, trust me, I've always had watched lots of good stuff because I enjoy the good stuff. Really good stuff of entertainment stuff that I've always liked for many times. Even hell, I could still do the voices of it anyway. Which, again, not similar characters I would rather be voicing anyway, but all I could say that better ones I would like voicing anyway. So, into my only reason right now is that the only thing that sucks is that, well, it went off freaking completely. It went off completely. And I was like, wait, you freaking kidding me? Like, I had to turn it on twice. I literally had to turn it on like 3 freaking times. And then all it just did was still go off. Wait, I was surprised. Out of my own seat. I was like, what? You freaking kidding me? Like, you're seriously got to just be kidding me. And all I had to do is find out so many solutions until I figure it out. That's when I figured out a little bit something very interesting, and also be right back. Anyway, I'm back. So, what I'm going to say anyway is just that, well, back to my point right now is that, oh yeah, the only thing I almost forgot anyway, that yeah, Seaside is still better than Columbia. Which that's all I could say right now. That Seaside was actually pretty fun than Columbia. Because I mean, it was pretty boring. I mean, who wants to pretty much go out and find some damn elks when it was literally not there? I mean, of course, one elk was already spotted, but seriously, the frick. A little bit, but the frick. So, in my point of my correction, is that, well, Seaside has been better. I still point my only correction, and that's all I'm ever making my bet on for that, is saying that Seaside remains being better. And oh, speaking of that, is that who probably won? Was it either Grizzlies or even the Lakers? Well, let's just see. I'm actually going to take a look at that for a second. So, anyway, give me a second. I'm going to say is who won in NBA? There we go. Let's just check. Okay, where the hell is pretty much, where was that? Okay, let's just take a look. Oh, damn. Okay, that's interesting stuff. That's pretty interesting stuff that was going on. Uh, Let me just take a look. Okay, where was the Grizzlies at? And then, of course, where were the, bruh. I literally gotta find whatever those were even at. Like, seriously, I really have to find that. Uh, okay, let's just go back over here. And, shit. Okay, let me just look for, like, Grizzlies. Okay, Lakers versus Grizzlies. Okay, so what was even going on with that, basically, was that who probably won this time? Let's see who really won. Uh, you cannot be freaking serious. Grizzlies actually whipped the freaking Lakers' ass. And of course, you're telling me again that the Lakers actually came back for another beating up that time again, which was just holy crap. Like, you cannot be freaking telling me how many times that was going on. Was because, of course, that Lakers now destroyed the Grizzlies in the second, and then now Grizzlies came back for the first. How original. And how surprising was that? Which, again, I still didn't even care, but holy wow, that's how exactly I found out the real reveal was even actually happening in that big game. Which, Jesus, that was really impossible that I could ever say, mate. That's crazy to hear from how that was even going off. So, anyway, back to my point. So, back to my point basically with the Knights and stuff was that, well, what was even going on with the Knights apparently was that, well, I've just been lounging in my pajamas like I've always been doing and just hanging out in my trailer, inside the trailer, while pretty much enjoying many stuff on my DVDs, which, oh yeah, my DVDs are awesome. They're very basically awesome. Legitimately awesome, because, again, I've always learned very good impressions. So many times I've actually enjoyed myself doing those. From many times to many days. So, let's just say what was even going on with the freaking damn ring was just like, the ring was hitting fucking massive. I was like, you serious? How did the ring was so massive that it continued going down? Really? Like it was going really freaking hard. Like the ring was actually going freaking hard. Until I kept noticing many times on the drops that was even on the roof. And I'm like, Jesus, what was that? I was like some kind of like a gorilla guy. Which, again, I know I'm making the joke up anyway, but seriously, how the hell did that go on for this? For like the ring was really dropping down anyway. It was just so unexpected. And then now all I have to expect now that there was some snow Which, I can tell you guys about the snow right now. So, about the snow that was even going on was that, well, the snow was just that the snow was actually raining pretty hard. Like, it was both in a reason that the snow and, of course, the rain was even dropping pretty fast. Faster than I could say how they were even dropping pretty quick in a few couple of last nights. Like, they were even coupling down too. Like, oh yeah, my phone still didn't even get any service either. So, it still stinks. But all I have to say about the snow was just magnificent anyways. Like, the snow finally came back in this year of 2024. I'm like so surprised that the snow actually freaking returns again. Then it actually finally returns now, which I really was surprised. And I was getting pretty cold. And the only thing that I was getting pretty cold of the snow was just that, yeah, I kind of felt that. I actually kind of felt that with the snow when I was getting pretty cold out there, when the snow actually was getting me freezing. So, all I could say and all I could expect from that snow was that I just didn't even know what the heck was even going on with it. And speaking of what was even going on with that, apparently, is that, well, what was even going on apparently, is that let's just say that the snow continued snowing a lot. It continued a lot. Really a lot. And of course that there was some exploring around there too on the woods that was pretty much known to be Bradley Q. I don't know what the Q or the last part of the sentence was even there, but I think it started with that one anyways. With pretty much like that. Which it was pretty interesting. Like Bradley, it's actually pretty interesting whenever I think about it. Like, it brings me a little bit of something about that one, but, pretty good to catch. Pretty good to catch after when I kind of noticed that. Like, I kind of noticed that name since I've actually would have, like, kind of thought of that, but I think if it was just like a person name, just, just only a thought. Not only like something, whatever, but just the thought of it, just my own thought. So, anyway, all I can say before I even did came back with okay, so here's what happened. And here's what really went down when I came back. So when I did came back right now, apparently just only like I don't know, like yesterday basically, maybe like yesterday. So all I could say basically I think it was around when I got back from 3 or 4 o'clock getting back, so I think it was like 3 or 4. So the only thing I probably ever expected was that, oh man, it wasn't pretty good until I even got back. And I was going to talk about the snowman. Before I even continue talking more about the 3 and 4 o'clock thing, here's what I'm going to say about the snowman. So, about the snowman, I had to say I actually got like 3 or 4 screenshots of taking a photo on the snowman. And I was like, finally, I can take a picture on the snowman. That I could really be giving myself the awesome amount of credit, which I've actually finally took a picture of a snowman. Which, hooray! Snowman! The snowman! Yeah, the snowman! Now, back to my point, my theory. Back to my point. So, back to my point anyway, about what was even going on when I was back in my own house. Apparently, all I had to say was just that I kind of expected when the floor apparently was freezing like crap. Like the floor was freaking freezing. I was like kind of swearing for a bit until I was getting freaking freezing. Like again, even if this has to be 30 minutes, again, literally, don't even think about it. Whenever it's like different minutes, blame the minutes. Not my fault. I mean, if it was ever going to be at 30 minutes, again, watch a video of mine that isn't 30 minutes. So, yeah. I mean, here's the old saying, is that when I make a video that's long, it gets pretty okay and interesting. Like, it gets interesting on long content anyways. So, again, I'm not against it anyway, but all I'm just saying is just that it makes it better, interesting interests and things anyway, just to make it even better. So, all I can say right now, back to my own point, is that, well, back in my own point, when I was kind of swearing for a bit, like, I noticed something on my floor. Where was I like stepping on the floor? Like it got so freaking cold that the temperature even went down, even a bit more. I was like, no way. Like, yeah. I was like, no way. Like I was apparently saying no way. Like the only craziest thing that actually ever happened with it was that the only question that's been telling me for since like the only question I've ever thought of right now was that whatever really happened, I was even going in the bathroom for crying out loud. Like whenever I was going in the bathroom, that I actually kind of noticed that the floor was super extra cold. I was like, cold! Like I was freezing. I was like freezing right now. I was really freezing. Like I could really say it my own self that I was actually freezing. Like jeez, like I just didn't even notice how it was actually freezing. Which, oh yes, it was very freezing to me. Like I was freezing, and whenever I was getting in that bath, whenever I was having to turn on with the warm and cold, I actually got freaking cold in there either. Which both of that didn't seem to help. I was like pretty much shivering a lot again until I was pretty much freezing. I was like, jeez. Oh my freaking gosh. Like, how? I was like, how? And before I even got back out the shower anyway, I was just still freezing the hell out anyway until the floor still made me get cold and so did my feet. After when the so-called temperature was actually making me freeze to death, which I wasn't close to freeze, but I was just kind of still being strong anyways by having my strong muscles to keep me being strong anyway without being completely frozen, but I was kind of actually feeling a little bit of around my arm anyway, or just my hand. That I was actually just getting freezing for a bit until the temperature's idea was wanting to probably get me to be so cold to be getting me cold. But yeah, I did kind of survive it just now, basically. I just kind of survived it without having any of the problem, which, oh, there was so many several problems that was happening while I was getting freezing to be cold. But, you know, you know. So, anyway, that's just all I want to talk about, and that's all I currently want to explain my entire story with it. And yeah, that's just all I kind of wanted to explain and on about, and just really consider explaining why about it. So here's what I was going to actually say next. What was even going on this time was that yeah, until my feet apparently was getting warm, I had to use my socks. I had to use my socks to use it like a shield, without my feet actually be screaming in pain for once, which it actually worked. Like it actually just worked. Very better. Like it really worked. I was like, shit, it actually works pretty betterly. It actually works very better. And that's when my feet was actually being protected from the cold while I was using my socks. Which I don't apparently use my socks anyway for that. Which I've always been fine with using my feet. Which a little bit in a different future thing to say it on otherwise is maybe next time when there's always going to be freezing cold on the floor. Just use socks or apparently just use shoes. So that's just kind of like the life lesson of saying that otherwise. So that's just kind of what I would say apparently. So, anyways, I'm gonna say hopefully you guys enjoyed the show, and I hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified so you guys will not miss a single video that comes on this channel. And all I could ever expect and all I ever could say to notify what was even happening with the entire time was that everything else was okay, but except few different examples that were kind of pretty stupid. So all I could say was that most likely it pretty much went fine anyways. And oh, after when I watched the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, I noticed that there was Snoopy Dog, or should I say Snoopy and Snoopy Dog. Snoopy Dog. I don't know why I said Snoopy Dog anyway, but I was saying Snoop Dogg. Get it? It was Snoopy and then Snoop Dogg. Get it? Because there's just only like literally two things that was actually pretty funny being added together by saying Snoopy Dog, or Snoop Dogg. But all I could probably notice that I was surprised. I was like, no way did Nickelodeon actually got that guy back in there. I was like, dang. Which that actually really did got me off guard for a bit, and I was like, no way, did that just happen? Which I mean, I was kind of watching it on a different, just a different DVD player. It was somebody else's. It was just somebody else of mine, or pretty much like whatever for any reason, just to enjoy the movie. But all I could expect and say was just that the movie of it was okay, which I still didn't get my opinion for that, but I'm only just saying it right now a little bit positively, just to say it the least of a halfway of half opinion talking. So all I could say, Sponge on the Run was pretty awesome. Legitimately pretty awesome. And oh yes, it froze for so many times I can't even skip pretty fast forward, so I had to do like skip jump cuts on every other scenes chapters that were pretty much more likely gonna have to get there anyway, which some parts were already missed in the movie on the DVD because that's just what happened. And then all I can say about Keanu Reeves. Oh, Keanu Reeves. Oh yeah. I'll say Keanu Reeves is going to be in December at this point of watching the third movie Sonic 3. That oh yes, I'm going to watch that movie. It's going to be hell of a fun to watch that number 3, as I've already did predicted that I've already knew that was going to happen anyways. That comes around on December. Like once it does come around December, oh yes, I'm watching it in the theaters, and it's going to be one hell of a ride to enjoy that big fight. But trust me, it's going to be like Sonic Heroes again, but into movie Sonic Heroes. Like all I could basically just say that between movie Sonic and movie Shadow is going to be a knockout. Like it's going to be sincerely a knockout, having 3 versus 1, which that's a perfect fight. Like that's really perfect. I could say that my boy Movie Knuckles is going to have a good fight on against Movie Shadow because hell yeah, Movie Knuckles forever and Grapes forever. By saying is like grapes, like yes, totally, brother, grapes, totally. And all I could probably notify is that I kind of did notice and heard a little bit about movie Dr. Eggman or movie Robotnik, basically from pretty much Jim Carrey, that pretty much would say that, yeah, he probably is going to be in his last time that he is ever going to be in the third era of pretty much like the movie Sonic verse, of movie Sonic's universe, apparently, by saying it's like, oh, Jim Carrey's going to have to probably be like, he probably won't be anywhere in every movie. Like, pretty much, he only lived to be in 3 movies. But the 4th, I'm not very positively sure. But, I mean, I've heard about number 4. But I just don't know when Sega's ever going to probably have any characters to be in the 4th one. But all that can be expected and surprised was I heard a few guesses that were coming on to that movie. Just a 3rd movie, apparently. By having either Movie Metal Sonic, that could be the only expected one that works from pretty much Jim Carrey, known as movie Eggman, or then another number by having movie Amy, which I know that might happen anyway, but remember, no spoiler alerts. No spoiler alerts from what was even going on for the second film, which I was pretty appreciative for some people that actually didn't spoil like the movie. But the third one, oh yeah, people are gonna definitely have to respect with the no spoiler alerts shit. Really, no spoiler alerts anyway. Like, seriously, please, come on, give it a break. No spoiler alerts, please, in the movie. I mean, you came to watch the movie, right? Then what's the point of making a spoiler alert? Seriously, that's the question. I would have to be a pretty much of a smart person to say it otherwise. Is by saying is like, if you're going to spoil the movie, then what spoiler alert is? Like, thank you. Didn't even ask. Thank you. So here's what I could say for pretty much however that the next one that people were so yet again talking about was movie Rouge the Bat. And oh, I know that I've always liked Rouge the Bat. Like, even if I still do my voice of Knuckles the Echidna, just my own kind of voice of Knuckles, I'd still say Smash. Because I'm smashing Rouge a lot. To say Smash, Smash, Smash. All I can say, Knuckles Forever and Knuckles X Rouge. Period. And then, even though, again, I can still respect Shadow and his games for a bit, that I can still positively respect. I mean, the ending, I can respect that too. But all I am saying is that I have different basic opinions on most sort of certain characters I've always knew about. By having their different movements, different whatevers, and yada yada. And even though I'm off topic in different whatever I'm talking about by different topics, and also, if anybody tells me the boxing ring that just happened anyways, I'm not saying another S word. I'm not. And I never will. Because I've heard that it's a joke. It really is. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of garbage. And oh, who do I think who probably won anyways between Jake or Mike? Well, in that question, obviously Mr. Mike, Mike Tyson, anyways, would rather just win it. Win it and a big knockout. Because, oh yeah, I'd rather be entertained watching that, anyways, by having a good fight. Which I'd say Mike Tyson, for crying out loud, because he's a legend. Like, again, still off topic. Still off topic. But all I'm saying is that I'm not going to even say about the whole shenanigans between Jake or Mike. That's just it. I'm just not saying it. I'm just saying that Mike Tyson's just been a better player than anything else. Like, he's a legend. Like, he's a total legend that he'll throw a lot of haymakers smackers. Like, pretty much smackaroonies for 50 cents. And a very much in a vending machine. So, let's just get back to my point anyways before I would have continued. So, yeah. And before I do ever get going, that yes, I still have kept my promise in the last one. Basically, I've already have kept my promise in the last one that I've actually did mention that 2 reaction videos of 2 premieres are showing up. Which, yes, apparently it's going to show up. And remember, if it was past 30 minutes, again, it's just for long entertainment. Don't have against 30 minutes. So, anyway, that's just all I'm going to say at the matter of the time. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give this one a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And all I just wanted to do was just make this video and just get it all over with and get this entire thing done. And what am I ever going to be playing on with the Premiere stuff is that no worries. The Premiere stuff is going to pretty much be happening. Whatever's going to really happen next, I don't know. It's just going to happen in what schedule it's going to be on, and it will be soon to be on, and then anything else. So if anybody has any questions for that, oh yes, I've already had made my choices on that question and decided and say is that I'm going to just get that done and get that up and see how that's going to go and see where that's even going to be flying to. So remember, again, I have to say that yes, I did came back from Colombia, which I was pretty okay with Colombia, but I was pretty bored until there was no signal service. I mean, I've only got like a few signals anyway before I was actually looking on my phone. Otherwise, well, I was looking at a few signal bars that was actually moving for a bit. And oh, afterwards, I was playing my iPad. And then plus, I was playing my iPad. I was playing Injustice. That's pretty much what I was even playing on. Which, oh yeah, I still practiced. I've already had practiced. But I didn't even got my man the Joker, which was pretty stupid. Which I know it was stupid anyway, but it cost like almost a little amount of like lots of money by even getting the Joker in the Injustice game on my iPad, which that stinks. But all I could say, I just learned different moves from similar characters that just actually had amount of good talent. And a little bit of so what. And also, Harley Quinn is a hell yes. That's another one for me. Yes. Yes. Even though if I would be the Joker, which, oh, I could still do that impression by actually having a very good, similar good impression of the Joker, which if I was ever in my own shoes of the Joker, which, I'd smash. Or should I say, I'd totally say, yes, the Joker and Harley Quinn. Match. XX. Totally. Ship. Shit. You know what I'm talking about? Shit. Which I was trying to make that as a heart anyway, but I can do this better. Well, at least I tried. I mean, if it wasn't a heart anyway, but don't blame me if it was just tried. So, anyway, thank you everybody for enjoying this video. And thank you guys very much currently again for enjoying this video. Like as always, is like and comment and subscribe and the bell to be notified. And just so everybody else to know that there is 2 videos going to happen, which I did mention the last one that I still did. And whatsoever, that it's just going to happen in different similar dates that's going to be on the premiere. And as for the Thanksgiving thing, well, I probably am thinking about that just a little certainly. Just thinking about that Thanksgiving thing. But it probably won't be full on until it even gets there, so who knows? Again, apparently who knows. So, again, 2 premiere videos are happening at some point. And then I've actually made my own discovery and just made my relooks on pretty much every time checking on pretty much of me consider reacting to like the 3rd additional talent show, which I'm gonna love enjoying that. I mean, am I gonna pretty much just make my own opinions on it anyway? Well, again, I've already had pretty much made my opinions for that actually, which I've actually am working on that anyway. But just seeing how that's gonna go, by seeing if any other jumps are gonna be pretty better to watch. I mean, if there's gonna be some pausing, you know what I'm gonna say is that I'm going to make my talk on it. Whenever I get there, I'm going to smack that talk, whatever I'm going to just talk into there. I mean, if there's a good one, I'm going to just say, yes, it's pretty good. But if I say no, I know what's happening. And I know what's up. And I'd say what's up. So, anywho, all I could say for the third additional talent show, I'm going to pretty much enjoy. But the only good question is, how good is it going to be? Well, that's pretty much for me to find out. And that's pretty much how I would find out anyways, just to know what this is going to happen anyway. But anyway, thank you everybody for enjoying this video. And I know it was pretty much long to make this video anyway. But again, if people tries to consider that as saying like, they're going to blame me by saying is like, yada, 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 yada. But saying is like, why does he have to make a long video that's past 30 minutes? Well, again, if anybody would rather still watch it, that's fine. But don't consider blaming me just because I make like the most good jokes and come into most of the parts that are even better. So again, don't even like it, then watch another video. It still again isn't hard to even say through the head. Which I'm not saying it to be a crazy guy, but all I'm just saying is just to be a little bit nicer and be a little bit more honest, because I've always been honest in different similar times of it. So again, I've been appreciative as appreciated person. So, thank you, and I wish you guys a very good day and a very good night. And also, if anybody doesn't mind or to excuse me, I pretty much would have to make 2 premiere reaction videos of me setting up 2 premieres, and pretty much will think on my way to say is that I'm going to pretty much consider getting on with Sub-Zero's game, which I've actually am thinking and looking to see where this is even going to go. And as in for starters, is that, I've actually think of another Gmod video that I might actually be playing somewhere sometime soon, that I might actually consider actually adding up another rematch between with Red and Blue again, which it's going to probably be very different with having like, I don't know, pretty much like Merc or Civilian, I think. It's pretty similar that I just didn't even know why, but I just might even bring in a good way of saying how that's perfect, but that's fine anyway either. So, yeah. It's going to be a rematch. It's going to be a rematch between Red and Blue, again for a rematch in Gmod, which that's what I'm going to do. And, it remains being single player, not all multiplayers, but just single player. And then, as in for a different team color that's green or yellow, oh man, it's going to be an interesting way that I'm going to add rounds. The only thing I'm going to add rounds is by adding 3 rounds in the ring, by having green to face off against yellow. Which, I mean, there's going to be some friendlies and hostiles, which, oh yeah, I would rather watch, apparently. I would not have to shoot the enemy, but all I could do is just pretty much duck. However, again, that some friendlies are going to probably be following me anyway, which I just don't want that to be happening. But if that's ever the necessary way, then don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is, okay? It is what it is. You're going to probably get a good, or you might probably get a bad one. So, again, it is what it is. So, all I could expect for whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And if I ever still again make the project of having like 2 similar projects on the way in Gmod, then I could probably be expecting it anyway for whatever's going to happen. So, yeah, a lot of projects are happening in sometimes that I've actually been thinking lately of having so many projects that I've actually been considered working on to figure out. So, anyway, continue watching the show and continue enjoying more of my videos. And also, again, I've actually been thinking about having a very good stuff to come on by. With just having like more thought into having, the list of the pile that actually resumes to continue of pretty much with the gaming stuff. So, again, if anybody is going to ask me by saying it's like, oh, you got to play this game. Do you want to play this game, Devin-Foxy? Well, my question, and I don't actually personally say to anybody else on the question, but again, does anybody realize I've actually said it's already been finished? Again, it could be on the waiting pile. That's all it's ever going to be on the waiting pile. But again, do not keep expecting me to say it's like, oh, I got to continue to do more gaming. Well, the answer remains no. It is not going to be happening that way, and I've only kept it to be on my only rule. That I've only kept it to stay there, not to rearrange it. The only time I rearranged it was having another decision of myself to have was do Left 4 Dead 2. So again, come on. Just come on. And you know who I've been talking to. Not my YouTube people, but on a different certain my own people. A different people. That is just on Discord. So, anyway, yeah. I know I've been getting some questions. Yada yada yada. I know. I've always checked and I've always have eyes to look and ears to hear. So, all I'm gonna say right now, and just to say, is remember, no changing the games, okay? No changing what I have on my own list, on my gaming things to deal with. Like, I'm not adding more, okay? I'm not adding more. Capiche? Capiche. So, thank you. So, anyways, I know it's going to be around 4 o'clock anyway for me to strictly go to bed, but at this point, I'm just going to go to bed anyways, just to probably end this video. So, anyways, if you guys pretty much enjoyed my whole conversation about me talking about like, oh, just me going to Colombia and just been like, through Wednesday night, through Monday night, or pretty much hang all the way back there. So, yeah. Damn it. So, anyway, thank you very much for currently understanding. And that's all I can ever say right now. So, with that being said, guys, I am Devin-Foxy, Remastered, everybody. Take care, have a good day, and have a good night. And also, just remember, if anybody still tells me, which I'm going to say this one time, is if anybody tells me to say, is like, oh, can you play another game, Devin-Foxy? Well, I'm saying no, okay? No means no. Final is final. Can't change what's been changed. For what I've considered having it on my head to memorize each single game on the list that should have been finished. Okay? There's not going to be any more until I've already got half out of it. So again, thank you. And I would rather not be wasting my own time making my own series, which it should have been happening anyway, but all I'm going to say, enough is enough, okay? It really is. Enough is enough. So again, if people I want to rather ask me by saying is like, oh, hey Devin-Foxy, can you put it on the waiting list? And then that's when I can say it nicely. When a person actually asks me, like pretend if somebody's the customer, but actually telling me this question by saying it's like, hey mister, or should I say doing a little bit of an accent, which I don't do accents anyway, but I would rather consider doing similar accents that's already fine to be similar to me. I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna just do a little bit of a British one anyway. I'm gonna say it's like, excuse me, a little boy. Excuse me, boy. Can I have a game that you could put on the later list, Mr. Devin-Foxy? Can you actually please, pretty please, put it on a waiting list? You don't have to play it now, but you may have to put it on a later list. Well, yes, I would say yes. Yes, thank you. You can definitely do that. And that's how that's been nice. And we resolve that way. So, again, I'm not always the boss just to pretty much be bossy. I'm just saying is that I'm just only being confident. That's just it. So, without that being said, I hope that you guys pretty much do understand for however I'm been just like saying on the gaming list that I've always had been putting on there. So, again, I have to memorize each single one. And that's all I ever would rather do. So if you guys consider enjoying this video, like as always, is like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And I don't have any time just to pretty much continue to explain it anyway because it's going to be another hour to explain, which I don't want to consider having that to be an hour. So anyways, thank everybody for watching. Please remember to give this one a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And please be sure to definitely join the Devin-Foxy community and the Devin-Foxy team. Thank you. And with all that being said, guys, I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody. And with all that being said anyway, I'll see you in the next time. And yes, thank you very much for watching. And also, consider looking at my poll anyway by looking at my YouTube poll. Just remember, I'm always going to have to update the poll, even though if I might have to move the poll into a similar spot. And just remember, again, I only had made my re-choice to say is like, which game did I re-choice the other one? Well, I've actually made my re-choice. That's going to be Left 4 Dead 2. Next to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, revisited again. Revisited. So thank you. Again, thank you. So with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night, and see you later. Peace out. Devin-Foxy Remastered, and once again, I would say usually by usual. So, yeah. Anyways, I already am back from Colombia, so will still continue making more videos for however I will be doing for basic of the time. So, thank you. And again, see you later. Devin-Foxy Remastered. We'll catch you in the next video and catch you on the next time. So remember, be a real Devin-Foxy fan. No fakes allowed. Be a real Devin-Foxy fan who truly has the guts and always has the guts. So thank you. And be a real. Don't be a fake. Be a fake and you're out of here. And be a real fan. Stay. And pretty much to stay otherwise. So thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night. And yeah. And with that being said, I'll see you later. Adios. And bye-bye.